Alright, welcome back to my channel. So here's a before video of the CBR600 carburetors. I'm getting ready to clean them, or just do a general cleaning on them. But it's got all the vacuum hose and everything. Complete setup. Just needs to be cleaned up. Once I get the exterior cleaned up, I'm gonna open her up, see what's going on inside. It's probably all gummed up. Floats are probably stuck. So this is just after the general cleanup, and I used a garden hose, pressurized garden hose, to dislodge some of the gunk. But it already looks pretty good. Just grimy as heck. Not bad, huh? So after cleanup, it's a good idea to take a good picture of all the hoses and stuff, especially if you don't have a shop manual to tell you where the hose is supposed to go. So take some good pictures, take a lot of pictures, mark them with a Sharpie if you have to, but it's always good practice to do that, because it could be a while before you reassemble everything and you forget where everything goes. Not only what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to drain the float bowls with these little Allen head screws. You undo them and they drain out these. There's usually, some carbs have hoses, so you can drain them while they're on the motorcycle. But if you're storing them, usually you want to drain these, each carb, for storage. Oh yeah, and make sure that after you drain them, make sure you tighten them back up, because I've forgotten them open a few times. Start up the motorcycle and it's just leaking fuel everywhere because it's coming out of here. Yep, it happens. Looks like somebody marked it with a Sharpie or something. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they're all marked. That's good. That means they've probably been disassembled and either rejetted, especially if you're running individual air filters. So before I disassemble this, or start disassembling it, I've got another carb over here that I've gotten taken apart. This is off my 1991 GSXR 1100. And there's nothing wrong with that one there. But I had rust in the gas tank, so I had to take it apart, cleaned everything up, and started putting these back together. But on this one carb, this little brass tube broke off, or it was cracked. So I tried to epoxy it on there and it didn't work. So next thing I'm going to try is JB Weld, because it looks like it had JB Weld on it before and seemed to be holding, but I'm going to try that. But first, what you want to do is, before we disassemble this one, I got to clear all this crap out of here, because there's a lot of little parts that could get mixed up, and you don't want that. Alright, so I got most of the hoses off, and what I did, I put them in this box, and I'm going to mark them later on with a Sharpie so I don't get mixed up. Also, I've got the Gixxer 1100 carbs over here, and it's a good idea if you got small parts, you even put them in a small plastic container like that, or Ziploc bags, and mark them. And if you got little containers like this, this is for earplugs, but it makes good for, it's really good for like small parts, and then you just mark it with a Sharpie, just so you don't get it mixed up. So if you take apart carbs a lot, especially older motorcycle carbs like this, what you want to have is this impact driver. These things are lifesavers. This right here, you get different ends for it. like that. This one doesn't stay in there, but and that one doesn't fit. Because I got the wrong one. Okay. So there it is. And what you do is you put a little bit of tension on it and you twist it in the direction you want it to go. And just hit it with a hammer. It's probably better if this thing was in a vise, but just got to be delicate with it. So you put a little bit of pressure on it and twist it in the direction you want it to go, and just hold it there. Boom. Just cracked it open just like that. Easy day. You try with a screwdriver, it'll probably strip, especially if it's an older carb. And this guy doesn't like to stay in there. Try one more. Put tension on it. Just like that, cracked it open. See, got it in there. Put a little pressure on it. Get a better shot of that. Okay. Put a little preload on it. Piece of cake. This is float ball number 4. Oh, gives you a ton of stuff down there, but that's pretty good. Throw them in there. This is your float. Actually, it looks pretty good in there. Once you start taking these guys apart, you got all little pieces, just put it back. Just put it all in that one float bowl right here. Okay. So that one looks pretty good. When I took the Gixxer 1100 floats off, man, it was terrible. Number one, they had an empty tank and it's stored for at least 2 years, so there was a lot of rust built up in it, and they didn't have the right carbs on it, but they were gummed up big time. Look at that. Yeah, there's a little bit of debris in there, but looks pretty good. Yeah, that one's probably the worst one here so far. It's starting to get varnish. Been sitting for a while. The last one. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, that's the floats. Next thing we'll be doing is we're going to be taking all the jets out. So when you're taking these jets out, you want to get a screwdriver that fits exactly in there. No slop at all. Because these things are made out of brass and they're really soft. And they haven't been taken it out in a while. It takes some effort. Just like that. This one's got, looks like it's been chewed up a little bit. Again, I like to put everything according to their float bowl, just to kind of like diagnose what's going on per cylinder. This one, look at that, it's all gunked up. Yeah. No bueno. So this one had the most gunk in the bowl. Just by looking at it, look, it's, oh, wow. Can you focus on it? Yeah, look at that. Yummy. Not bad. It's got some rust in there. It's more likely from the fuel tank. The last one. This little guy. Oh yeah. Got some. Yeah. Sure. Nasty. So now we're switched over to the top. Again, these screws, they don't come off easy with a regular screwdriver. You just use your impact. Definitely worth its weight in gold. It's one of those must-have tools. Okay, so that was an automatic ejection. So there's your cap, spring. I like to just put them together like that. And there's your diaphragm. Careful with this guy. Sometimes they tear. They've been sitting for a while, but this one. So there's your diaphragm. needle. Whew, look at that crud on there. Yeah, that's one. Not bad. So when you're rebuilding these guys, it's a good idea to, before you take it apart, get all your parts that you ordered, get them in, and have them standing by, ready to go. Because you don't want to take it apart and just have pieces everywhere. And 2 weeks later, you get your parts in, and well, you know, stuff could have moved. That guy's good. Oh, no focus today. Last one. Okay, and that's your basic teardown. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these seats out here. They're usually tough to get out because I've never had any luck getting them out. They're not easy out, anyways. But they're held in with an O-ring, and for some reason they like to dry rot. And they're a real pain to get out. But if you've got a new kit, they usually come with them. So damaging these guys getting out is usually not a problem. As long as you don't damage the housing, be fine. One thing I forgot to mention is that this is your main jet. Usually easier to get out, but the tough one is going to be this. So there's a little jet in here. This is your pilot jet. This one you really have to make sure you got a screwdriver that fits exactly in that slot. And this one, this screwdriver I've modified to fit exactly. And this is your pilot jet. Okay. There's usually a number marked on them. I'll write that down, record it somehow. You can still see that there's still some crud all in those tough spots to get. So what I'm taking is some engine degreaser, just hitting up those tough spots. definitely want to wear some protective equipment for this stuff. This stuff is pretty strong. Okay, and then we're just going to let it sit. There. Bam. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to clean up some of these parts in our little parts cleaner. So I'm going to take this apart. That should come out like that. Don't put any of the plastic stuff in this parts washer or the rubber parts because it'll deteriorate those. That. Come on. Okay, so these guys are going to go in the parts washer for, I'll probably leave them overnight. They get nice and shiny when I do that. Everything else, though, probably just get cleaned up with brake cleaner. Especially inside the bottom of them bowls, and then these, brake cleaner. This is that carburetor parts cleaner I was talking about. It cleans all varnish and all the nasty carb stuff. This is the basket it comes with. You just drop it in there like that. Make sure you put that cover back on. Boom. Check on it tomorrow.